adversity? Bring it. The struggle? We welcome it. Snooze on life? Never that. We are Dave Regina and Mike Parelli, and this is the No Snooze Podcast. Come on.
Tell me we're good, CV.
We're good.
Welcome back to episode 29 of the No Snooze Podcast. We are rolling through. I'm a father. I'm 30.
Yes,
Dave is
sir.
still skinny. What else you want to know?
Happy birthday, my brother,
Thank
right? Even though it was a week ago. But more importantly, Paparelli is now, I guess, you're
born.
not back. Yes,
I was
you're
kind of born.
Right.
Paparelli sounds like pappardelle,
The pasta.
the linguine.
The
Yeah.
linguine.
The macaroni.
I see you. That's us, the linguine and the macaroni.
That's, some would say, our best nickname. But we have made it. We are in fatherhood.
Yes.
We're in fatherhood? Is that the term?
Yeah, we're in it for the rest of our lives.
We're going to get into it, but my schedule has been ravished.
Yes.
I am scrambling.
Well,
I know
it's-
I say that in my posts, like scrambling today.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks of just pure scrambling.
Yeah, it's a big change, but it's beautiful. I am excited for this one. This is my favorite episode yet because I want to hear the story, right? We did the birth of Callie Michelle, then Epi 28 was Anticipation, which played right into the piece that we're going to speak of today. But we now welcome the No Snooze tribe is now in full effect, right?
Yeah.
We have 2 No Snooze babies, and we have the birth of beautiful Olivia Louise.
Olivia Louise is here. Clap.
Yes,
Round of
clap it
applause.
up, clap it up, clap it up.
Yes, and I think it's going to be a pretty good story.
Yep.
The episode of the birth of Callie Michelle came at the perfect time. You gave me kind of the pep talk.
But the experience was different.
Yeah. Yes. Very different, but similar.
Yeah.
Like I was prepared for certain parts.
Yep.
We'll talk about the whole story, but the big thing was the car seat, because you mentioned that you forgot it originally.
And
so that's kept
I didn't
replaying.
tell that part when I was listening back.
Oh,
I
you
didn't
didn't
tell
say it?
I have to tell it.
Yeah, yeah.
I did not realize that you have to bring the car seat into the hospital, especially now with COVID. You can't go back to the car because if you leave the hospital, you weren't allowed back in. So I forgot. We bring everything in, and they're like, "Where's the car seat?" I'm like, it's in the car." They're like, "Sir, you can't enter the hospital without the car seat."
But you do look crazy walking in with like luggage for a 5-day vacation, all inclusive. Like
it's wild.
It's absurd.
But thank God they escorted me out. I was able to do it. So then I told Mike, "Listen, don't look like a fool like Dave Regina, and show up with your car seat."
Show up prepared. And I am going to preface this by saying I'm going to mess up names, times, order of events, because if you can imagine, it was pretty chaotic.
Yep.
So Dana next week can correct me, and Karina could correct you.
Yes. So Epi 30 will be
Yes.
the one with the wives again. We bring them on every 10. That might be tough for us after the births.
Yeah, and now it's going to be fresh in her head because it's going
Yeah.
to come out next week, and then she's going to be
Right.
ready to go. I'm sure she'll do it justice. Also, it goes without speaking, but thank you everyone for all the messages. If I did not return a call or a message, I apologize. That, in addition to a 30th birthday, was like my head was spinning.
Yes. Busy weekend.
Busy weekend. A lot of fun. All good stuff though. Like I
But
couldn't.
you might have got a response if you DM'd No Snooze Podcast
Yes.
and Mike didn't get back to you. I
Dave
was saying
did it for
thank
me.
you sometimes too to
Yes.
people.
I saw that.
Just didn't want to leave people hanging after a couple days.
That's my bad.
So he covered most of them, but then there were a couple. So if you received it, you got it from one of us at least.
Yes, that was my bad. So do you want to jump right into it?
Yeah, well, I am curious. I want to know really so it was like for us the night before was like we were anticipating going. How did the whole thing, like did her water break? Like how did that happen to really say, "Oh wow, it's go time"?
So I thought that the baby was going to come on the previous Friday because I had a closing, I had an inspection, I had an appraisal, I had showings, and something else. I had so many things overlapping, and I was at certain things and coordinating on the phone. Oh, I had to fix a gas leak, and I had to coordinate.
You're a gas guy?
We do everything as real
Wow.
estate agents.
Wow.
So I was at a property fixing a gas leak. And I'm doing all this because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get to next week. So there's no snoozing on all the things I need to get done. So I kept saying to Dana and the baby, I kept saying, give me till Friday. I said to you guys,
Yep.
give me till Friday. So throughout that whole day, I kept looking at my phone because I'm like, it's going to happen today. It's going to happen today. When it didn't happen and I successfully got everything done, I was playing with house money. So I think after that, in my head, I was like, whenever it comes, and I'm just going to take it in stride. Didn't expect it to be Monday.
Right, Monday.
Which it ended up being Monday, but technically Tuesday because it was all day contractions, which we'll get into.
Did you feel those at all?
I felt them, I'd like in my heart, you know?
Yeah? What did it feel like?
So I'm trying to think. It felt like, I'll let Dana talk about it next week. So Sunday night, what were we doing Sunday? I don't know what we did the week, but it's all a blur. And I'm sure you can, and Dana can talk about this. So we were doing something. What was Sunday? Maybe we were hanging with the family. So Monday morning comes, right? And I'm sprinting to try to get to 30,000 push-ups. So in my head, I'm like, all right, if I get 2 days of 2,000 each. Oh, it was Father's Day.
Yes.
That weekend.
Yes, it was.
So Father's Day was happening. So we did things from the beginning till late at night. We got home late. Dana was going. We got in a big argument about buying a new car, which thank you, Frank and Alyssa, for giving the call. And they said, listen, when Alyssa was pregnant, we argued about a car and went to go test drive them, or we were in the shop looking for one, and then she went into labor. So they thought that was a good idea. So that was a conversation I think we had Sunday, or maybe Saturday. So we got in a big fight. We talked about this.
It wasn't really a fight. I mean,
it was a fight. So thank you for that. So, all right, Monday morning, I'm trying to get to 30,000 push-ups. First thing in the morning, I'm like, all right, let me get him in. Woke up at 4:45. Everything was going as usual. I got like 1,100 in before like 7:30. So I'm like, oh, I'm in good shape. I'll try to do another 1,000 throughout the day to get to about 2,000.
Wow.
And then I'll be put into my position to try to push to get to the 30,000, which is what I said I was going to do.
Yep.
And I checked. I said November. So I still can try to get it.
I'm confused by that whole November reference. I don't understand.
The habits, the goals episode.
Oh, so this was back then.
Yes.
Right?
My original goals for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the goals
okay,
episode.
I got you now. The way you explained it to me, I didn't realize that that's what you were referring to, the original.
Previously.
Yes.
So I wanted to get it done in June to check that off. Got close, did 1,000 a lot of days, probably the majority, didn't get it done. So Monday got my push-ups done. It's like 8:30. I have 10 o'clock appointments, and it's with one of my friends, Martin, and we're going to see some properties.
Martin Lawrence. Shout out Martin Lawrence. Thank you for the deal.
That's probably his nickname. He's not Martini Rye. We have a friend named Martini Rye, but sometimes we call him Martini as well.
Oh.
Great shooter. He's on the Free Ballers.
Okay.
We're changed our name from Free Ballers to Free Baller.
I'm not going to get a call this year, huh?
No, you're out.
I'm
Different team.
My toe took me out.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. So I got 10 o'clock, I think, was the first appointment. I'm getting prepared, doing your look, which thankfully you gave me, and I've been rocking it with the polo, the athletic shirt, and the tuck-in.
Gotcha.
So it's like,
in the summer.
I want to say it's like 9 o'clock, and Dana comes down, and she's like, I'm having pains. And she's like, I don't know if they're just like my stomach's upset or like they're actual pains. I'm like, what do they feel like? She's like, they're happening, every so often. And I'm like,
and that's kind of when you know, right? They time them.
So I didn't even know the term, I don't think. She's like, it might be the labor, the contractions are starting. And I'm like,
did your water break at that time?
No waters broke. My water, I had to go to the bathroom. I remember being like, wow, this is wild. So, but in my head, I'm like, it's 9 o'clock. I have a 10 o'clock. I'm done by 12. Like, this could work out. I could go and come back.
Just get me to 12. Get me to 12. Get me to 12.
Yeah. So I'm like, how much pain are you in? And she's like, I don't know. Like, I'm going to call the doctor and see if I can sneak in to get checked just to make sure. So I'm like, all right, well, I have to run out. Call me if anything happens, and obviously I'll just leave. So I arrive at my appointment, and I tell the people, and they're awesome. I'm like, yeah, by the way, my wife might be having contractions, so let's see how many appointments we can get in before I got to run out of here. And they were like, leave, like, we'll reschedule. I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, I need to get this done.
No biggie.
Yeah, I don't want to worry about it. I don't want to go home and be a false alarm.
Yeah.
So Dana texts me, and I'm like showing. She texts me. She says, 11 o'clock, I'm going to West Med, and they're going to check in on me. And I can't remember if she went to West Med or at the hospital, but she might have went to the hospital. So the whole time I'm waiting for a call, like after 11, we get through our showings. I'm like excited, but trying to stay focused. And I think I did a good job of showing the homes and some beautiful homes.
What was that like, though?
New construction.
Not for nothing.
Very
Your
nice.
wife is in the hospital. You're not there. You're showing like, hey, this is a really nice bedroom, bathroom. And are you thinking like, oh my God, my wife could be in labor right now?
Yes, but I was also thinking like, I was relating things to Dana, to my clients about houses. So I was like,
Yes.
oh, my wife loves this, my wife loves that, which it was clear she was on my mind, and I was like focused, but linking everything back to her. So you'll like that. If, Martin, back me up here. Shoot her a text and say that was true. So it's kind of this weird like anxiousness. I, in my head, was like, I don't think it's happening now, but I think it's going to happen in the near future.
But she's at the hospital. You're showing
I don't have
houses.
any answers yet.
Right.
It's radio silent. Right?
But
Like
so
she's
what,
updating
But she's
me.
at the hospital at this point.
I think she's either at Westmed or the hospital.
Okay, but she's there getting checked on the contractions.
at 11. We
Talk
don't
to
know
me.
if they're
Talk to me.
contractions.
Talk to me.
I know it's gonna be.
Talk to me.
The story's just getting started.
Talk to me.
So yeah, and if you need clarification, jump in. Dana's probably yelling behind the screen like, didn't happen.
That's not
that
what
way."
happened.
This is my version. So I'm at the showing and we're trying to get into our last property, and it's like this sick house. My phone is my key, and if you go to certain properties in town and you don't have service, you can't get into the house because your
Don't
key
tell me
can't
you didn't have
update.
service.
So my key's not updating, right? And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, of course, one last house, I might have to run to the hospital, and my
Yeah.
key's not updating. And I'm at the point where I'm like, I need to finish this. I showed 3 houses. The 4th, I'll feel the weirdest reason why. So I'm doing, finally works. As I'm opening up, Dana calls.
Wow.
And I'm like, do you guys mind? My phone is broken, so I can only listen on speaker or Bluetooth. So I put her on speaker, and both of them, I look at my 2 clients, it's Alice and Martin, and they're like
Listening
waiting,
in,
right?
right.
And I'm like,
Is it
so
time?
she's like, hey babe, like, they think they're contractions, but they're sending me home. I need to start timing them. Where are you? And I'm like, I'm just finishing up. I'll be home soon. And she's, oh, great. So very calm, cool, collected. They're all excited for us because they're like, oh, she said it could happen tonight or tomorrow, they think. That was the big takeaway. Could happen tonight or tomorrow. So when she said that, I'm like, all right, good. I'm going to get done with them. We'll take our time. Then I'm going to stop and get all the things, snacks that I didn't get, and like creamer and things that I need to do before getting ready for the hospital.
So you were bringing creamer to the hospital?
Yeah, creamer for
Coffee
my
creamer?
iced coffee. Because
Nice.
you told me it's hard to
Nice.
get coffee.
Nice.
So finish showing the house, and I'm like, Dane, do you mind? I have to ship 2 things out, a closing gift for a client, and then I was going to stop and grab some stuff snacks-wise at Stop and Shop or wherever I went. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So it's probably like 1 o'clock now, and I'm running, grabbing a couple of things, and I get home, and it's like 3 o'clock maybe, and I'm like, did you eat yet? She's like, no, but I'm really hungry. Let's go to Castle View and get a sandwich. So basically, she sends me out to get a sandwich. I'm like, you stay here, you're uncomfortable. She's in pain still, but it's not happening as often. So I run out, grab a sandwich, come back, bring her a sandwich, and she's like, let's call my mom and tell her to come, because if it happens tonight, I want them here to take care of the dog.
Odd question.
Yeah.
What were the sandwiches as your last meal?
I guess she got a grilled cheese.
Non-parents.
She
Grilled
got a
cheese?
grilled cheese with
Wow.
cones.
Wow, with cones.
Castleview's a phenomenal
Wow.
deli. I got to
Curious.
tell them there.
And what'd you get? You got a big Italian.
What
wedge.
did you think I get?
You got
What do you think
Italian.
I got? What I get?
I don't know. Did he get sausage, CV? I don't know. Did he get
Sausage? Are you
Did
kidding
he
me?
get a meatball parm?
I
Yeah, you
got-
Italian combo.
No, that's close though. I got chicken cutlet, lettuce, tomato, mayo, bacon on a wedge,
Wow.
which is like, that's
Wow.
always good. That's always consistent,
Wow.
especially there. Yeah, I ate it all.
Water broke later for sure.
Yeah, that broke my water for
Yeah.
sure. Ate it all, of course, no problem.
No problem.
So now we're at like 3:30. Dana calls her mom and dad's. They're on their way. I call my mom. Dad's crazy with work, and he knows that I don't want to bother him, but I'm like, let him know whenever he's done, come over too.
Yep.
So I might have texted him. So I know her mom's on the way, and they're going to watch Petey. So it's like 4:15, and they're probably going to get there maybe 4:30ish. And she's like, I can't take it anymore. We got to go. Like, I think I'm in a lot of pain. This is for real. It's, 4 minutes apart, 3 minutes apart, which is like go time. So I'm like, all right, and just like start scrambling. Like,
What'd you feel in that moment? Do you know?
I was excited, but didn't want to get excited. I wanted to control my emotions of excitement because if it was a false alarm, I didn't want her to be deflated by it.
Yes. Okay.
Right? But in my head, I was getting the cooler ready. I was getting things
You're doing-
ready.
Yes.
Because I knew, I was like, it's going to happen soon, I thought. So we call her parents and my parents and say, listen, we're heading to the hospital. Come over. There's tons of food and drinks, and, we'll keep you updated with what's going on. So they're all fired up and like, I don't know if anyone started crying yet, but everyone was happy. We get to the hospital. I have all the stuff ready. I have my iPad because I'm like, this could
Wait,
be
you get to the hospital?
Yeah, we drive to the
Did
hospital.
her water break in the house?
No water broke.
Nothing.
Nothing yet. So you just want the water break.
I want to know. Yeah, like when did that happen?
That didn't happen yet. She's just in a lot of pain and taking it like a champ and just like ceasing up, and she's clearly uncomfortable and she feels low. So I'm like horrified of like, we're not getting to the hospital and I'm
Like the
delivering
baby's
this baby.
just gonna come out.
Like I'm driving it.
Yeah. Livy.
How many? 7 pounds.
Set, go.
Red 7. There's a story about that too. So we're driving and I'm like going kind of fast. It's only 10 minutes away, but I'm like, we're getting to the hospital. Yeah. I'm like, do we go emergency? Where's the front? She's like, go to the front, go to the front. So we go to the front. I can't go in with her initially until she's admitted, which I think you explained to us.
Yeah.
So I drop her off. I'm like, good luck. Let me know how it is.
Good luck. I'll pick you up
like
at
it's
the
weird.
end.
It's like you're
Let me know if you need me to help.
Like, which I felt terrible. I'll explain later, but I felt terrible about joking with her about not being there.
Yeah.
Because I realized what like panic in her face was.
Sure, yeah.
So I felt like an idiot after that. So I drop her off. I'm standing in the front and just like, let me know when, if I come up or not. So right after I drop her off, I'm like, all right, I got maybe an hour to shoot off a bunch of emails I need to get done. Like, this is go time. I need to
like hospital parking lot.
Go through my checklist. AC's blasting. Sourdough pretzels to my right.
Nice.
iPad's ready. And I'm like, had to do a report for an inspection. So I knew what I had to put in there, but I had to get it out because I didn't know, like, if we're having the baby now, it's chaos for how long. So I got a ton of stuff done, maybe 30 minutes pass. She calls me. She goes, listen, they're not going to know for another hour. They put some machine on me to see what the contractions are. I'm only dilated a centimeter, which was the same as the previous, like, appointment. Okay. So she hadn't moved in that, but they
the
think
pain
it's
is getting
contractions.
worse.
Yeah, they think it's contractions. Pain's worse. She's clearly in pain. So she's like, go home and I'll call you. It's only 10 minutes away, so if they keep me here, just come back.
Oh.
But mom and dad, my mom and dad are at your house, and like, I'm sure your mom and dad will come at some point. So I'm like, all right, which is weird because you're leaving your pregnant wife, potentially having a baby at the hospital.
Yep.
And I'm going back to like parents that are all excited. So I call Dana's mom. I call her Sue now because we have a baby and I feel like it's the appropriate time. So Sue and Joe. Call Sue and I go, Sue, I'm coming back. Everything's fine. They just don't know if they're going to keep her or not yet. So they're sending me home to keep her calm.
Right.
Because previously I showed up at her house without Dana and she thought something terrible happened and started
Oh.
crying. So I knew that, so I called her ahead. Come home, they're kicked back in the backyard having the glass of wine and the beer. Because I told them, like, just take care, whenever you come over, get whatever you want. So they're already, nerves are going clearly. Petey's there, he's all fired up. My mom's not there yet, and they're like, what's going on? What's happening? So I'm texting Dana, like, how are you doing? She's like, they're not here yet. I'll let you know. So 5 o'clock comes around. My mom, I think, gets there at 5. Yeah. Is it starting to rain?
No, airplane.
Oh.
It's like
That's fine.
It's like a long
I'll
airplane.
talk over airplanes. So sorry for this could be a long-winded story because we're not even like
it's all
at the
good.
meet yet. Well, I feel like a lot of it happened in the front end, like all the.
Well, this is good right here.
You're enjoying
I like
it?
This, yeah.
So paint the scene. I'm in the back of the house, like I'm talking to the in-laws, Joe and Sue. My mom is texting me, like my dad's clearly gonna come at some point, and I think Chris and Anna are gonna come too. So, like I'm talking to Dana, but I'm also not want to bother her. She says she's in so much pain. This is difficult. She's annoyed. She'll let me know. So 5 o'clock comes. She's like, they're sending me home. Can you pick me up? So I tell them, I'm like, I got to pick her up. They're sending her home. Apparently, she's not ready yet. And we'll see what happens. So
Twice
like,
now.
This is the
now
second time.
the second time.
Second time they
This is
send her home.
wild.
So
And do you think they're extra extra cautious about the COVID?
I think there's two things. I think they're extra cautious. This is a plane break brought to you by insert if you want to be sponsored here. That's going to work. Yeah. That's going to work. So I think they're super cautious about everything going on, which we won't mention it because we'll get blacklisted, but what's going on in the world. But also I think they're so used to first time, they kept asking, are you like, is your first baby? They're so used to the pregnant women being overly nervous because they don't know.
Are you calling Dana dramatic?
No.
Oh, all right.
I'm not.
Alley-oop.
Don't get me in trouble. So, but it's kind of.
But I get it.
Crappy
yeah,
because
I'm sure
they don't know what to feel.
Yep.
It's the first time through the process.
Makes sense.
Like, how do they know what a contraction feels like, right? But they keep telling them like, you'll know.
And it's a wild thing to think about because your body is literally at that point contracting to push the baby out. Like that's wild to think about. Sometimes it hurts when you fart. So imagine, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
right?
all the time.
You get what I'm saying? So like imagine just putting the baby out.
So we're there and I'm like, you guys hang out. I'm going to get Dana and we'll like get dinner because, there's no point. Everyone's here. We might as well like celebrate the potential of Dana going to labor
Let's
tonight.
Celebrate.
Right? And I'm like, it's probably good for everyone to be here because then she'll be distracted by the pain and maybe it'll calm her down. Probably not the best move. So I go pick her up and I'm like, I'm driving fast, but now I'm kind of relaxed because I'm like, I'm on my way. If she starts going to labor, I'm coming. Pick her up. I'm like, how you doing? She's like, I'm in a lot of pain. They put me on some machine. I had to wait an hour. It was by myself. Like, I don't like you not being there with me during that. And like in my head, I'm rewinding all the times I was like, I'll be sitting in the waiting room with a whiskey and a cigar. And I'm like, well, that's not working in my favor. So I bring her home. Her dad, I remember her dad being like, what happened? You had the baby already? Like joking around. Yeah. And she's like kind of annoyed just in general that she had to come home. And then I think my dad and mom are there and everyone's like, how you feeling, Dane? Like everyone's excited, but also nervous because the baby's not here. Chris and Anna show up and they're there like hanging with the dog and everyone's like, this is kind of bizarre, but I think Chris and I were there. Billy and Alyssa there too. They were definitely there when the baby came. So because they might have been working or doing something. So Chris and Anna are there and I'm like, let's get some Glenville pizza. Let's get some Sicilian. I think Chris might have mentioned it because of the whole, So Chris mentioned it, and I'm like, all right, we'll order Sicilian, white pie, salad pizza, and maybe meatball.
Big day of eating.
Huge day of eating. And I'm like, this is terrible going into probably an all-nighter. So Dana gets home. Everyone's like trying to talk to her, but she's clearly in pain. So I'm like, all right, we'll run. We'll grab pizza. We'll be back. So me and Chris go get pizza, and our guy Frankie there, the son of the owner, and he loves us because of the show, and we know him forever. And of course, Chris is like, Frankie, you weren't in the video. Like, Mike doesn't like you? Like, why did you do it? He's throwing me under the bus, and he's trying to get his foot in the door. So, like, they become best friends, and I tell him, I'm like, oh, my wife we think in having contractions, this could be your last meal. He's like, you should have brought her. You could have had the baby in here. Great promo. I'm like, well, it'll be the last thing.
We already named our dog pizza. We can't name can't name our daughter pizza now.
Yeah, we really can't name both of them. Yeah. So I'm like, but at least this might be her last meal, and you could tell people that, you eat this pizza, you go into labor if you're pregnant.
There you go.
So we go home, and we're all hanging out, and like we're just talking and eating pizza, and like Dana's on the couch, and I guess I wasn't a great husband because I was eating the pizza just kind of entertaining people, and she's on the couch with Mom and like clearly like this and like kind of hurting and doing like the contraction thing. So I want to say it's like 9 o'clock and like my parents, Dana's parents, Chris and Anna all leave. And the minute they leave, Dana's like, I gotta go to the bathroom, goes up the stairs and she has blood that comes out. So she goes to the bathroom and there's like a clot of some sort, which I guess is typical. But understandably, Dana starts freaking out and is worried that like she's gonna have the baby that second.
Wow, like right on the bathroom.
So she's like, Mike, so I'm like, I sprint upstairs. Luckily, the in-laws.
A little slow though because of all the food, probably.
No,
you
adrenaline.
Flew up.
Adrenaline.
Right, okay.
The Sicilian's light. It's very light.
Okay, all right.
Oh, we crushed it too. I might have had like 7 slices. So I sprint up the stairs. The in-laws took Petey, so we didn't have to worry about him. And I come upstairs, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like crying, and she's like, look, and I look, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of blood. So I'm like, call the doctor and ask, and she just did it, and she calls the doctor, and like they seem annoyed by her calling because she called a bunch of times throughout the day, but she's like, hey, like I'm bleeding, like it was a blood clot. I think it's the mucus plug or whatever the term is, and they're like, how much blood is it? And she's like, Mike, that's a lot of blood. I'm like, it's a lot of blood.
But is it like gallon of water bloody?
No.
Or
It's
like pasta sauce bloody?
It's like
what's the consistency?
It's like if you have pasta at a restaurant and you say go light on the sauce.
Go light on the sauce.
It's
okay.
enough
Gotcha,
where it's going to get the pasta a different color.
Yep.
It's nasty. So she's like, can you clean? Dana's like, it's like a lot of blood. I confirm that and say it. And like the guy's like, well, all right, come in. And he says it like that. And they were amazing. Let me preface, they were great, but they were annoyed by that, which set Dana off, understandably.
Right.
Like this poor girl's
This is now number 3.
having her first baby and possibly going to labor at home, and you're giving her a hard time. This was the only point where I was kind of like, but I get it. They're probably dealing with a million other things, and he just came out.
Yep.
So she's freaking out, crying. I'm like, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna get to it's fine. So I clean up the toilet, and I'm like, all right, get everything ready. Everything's in the car already. So we just grab her bags. She had 2 bags. We grab those and we get in the car. And she's like holding my hand and having these contractions on
Now
their way.
are they closer together?
Now they're like maybe 3 minutes apart. So
okay.
maybe before they were
4 and 5.
4 and 5 and less consistent. Now they're like really strong, and she's like can't talk screaming.
Wow.
Not screaming. Can't talk.
Yeah, but in
but
extreme agony.
extreme agony. And when she went previously, they said she kept saying like, how will I know to like come back? They're like, you'll know because you'll be in that much pain.
And she knew.
So she like stopped in her tracks trying to talk to me when she was having him.
Wow.
So she's holding my hand.
What a champ.
And it's like 9 o'clock.
Yep.
So I'm like,
Long
wow,
day
this is
too.
going to be a long. So she's squeezing my hand, and we're driving there, and we go on the emergency exit this time because after 5 you go that way. So we go up. She grabs all her stuff. You know, love you, good luck, let me know. Same situation.
Yep.
Goes in. I drive around and park right outside the emergency exit, so I'm ready to pull up. So I'm parked there, and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll wait for the phone to ring. So I update everyone. So I'm like, oh, I got to update. I update everyone. Brother Billy calls me, or he texts me. Yeah, he texts me. Maybe he FaceTimes me. No, he texts me. And he's like, how you doing? Like, you know, everyone's worried about Dana. You're sitting by yourself, which I appreciate it, Billy. But yeah, Dana's the people. I'm like, I think I'm fine. I mean, I can't really do anything.
Right.
So I'll be ready if they call me. So I'm sitting there, and I think I'm answering texts and then also like doing a little bit of work because I'm like, again, this could be the last minute.
Yep.
So I think everything, maybe it's 10 minutes, and she calls me and she's crying. She's like, they have 2 emergency C-sections, so the doctor can't come in to tell me, like, it might be 2 hours.
Which was a situation that I had told you about.
Yes.
Right? Because that
Yeah.
happened, and then at that point, that is obviously the priority to get that baby out safe, and then you kind of get bumped. So, all right.
Which happened to you guys, right? Like,
Yeah.
It delayed. So she starts crying, and she's like, I wish you were here with me. Again, I feel terrible because of the jokes that I said the whole way.
I think she was cool.
But that stuff runs in your head because you're like, if God forbid she has this baby without you, you're going to feel like the biggest out. So I'm sitting there and they're like, it could be 2 hours. And she's crying. She's like, I wish you were there with me. And I'm like, FaceTime me. Like, it's the same thing. You just don't have to smell me. You know? So I didn't say that, but look, it's probably better. So she FaceTimes me, and like, it's angled kind of like up. So I could see her, and she's like hooked up to everything. And it's like a scene in like The Blair Witch. I know you don't watch movies.
I haven't seen that.
But it's like an up the nose kind of angle, and she's on her side, and she's got all this stuff for like the contractions on her, and she just looks like sad and like in pain, and I feel terrible. Nurse comes in, and the nurse is like, who's that? And she's like, oh, it's my husband. He's FaceTiming me, and I'm listening to them. And she's like, I think she's like, all right, we're going to check you quick. So they're like checking her, and you hear like, oh, okay, you're at like 3 centimeters now. Okay.
So we're moving.
Yeah, she's like, okay. All right, send your husband up.
Oh, wow.
Like that. So instead of 2 hours, thankfully, it was like 15 minutes. So I'm
Wow.
like, in my head, I'm like, okay, she's probably close because they wouldn't send me up that fast.
Yep.
So I'm like, pull up. I give the valet guy, like, I go to give him the key, but he's like, no, leave the key in the car. I'm like, oh, my bad. So he gives me a ticket. I put the ticket in. First thing I think is like, do you tip on the way out?
Yeah.
Because I always worry about
Yeah,
tipping. And I'm like, all right, dumb question. Come in. I have all the stuff. Look like an idiot.
It's wild, right?
Backpack, duffel, car seat, Dana's bags, and a roller.
Car seat up top.
No, I held it like not a Neanderthal. So I go to the guy, and he's like, having a baby? I'm like, yeah. And he laughs, and I'm like, either that or I'm going on vacation. Someone just got shot.
Yeah. Shout out Westlake, baby.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a firework. A legal one.
That's right.
So he gives me the directions. He's like, all right, you're going, still don't remember what he said. He goes, you're going this way. So I'm like, all I heard was elevator, 3rd floor. I could be wrong. Is that right?
Yeah.
Elevator, 3rd floor?
Yep.
Get in the elevator, get in the 3rd floor, no idea where I'm going, right? It's dark and it's nighttime, so like no one walking around. So I just start walking, what direction? So I like walk, I think left, and all these nurses are like, where are you going? Are you having a baby? You're not in the right area. And I'm like, oh, sorry. Turned around. Like,
all the stuff in your hand.
First time here. So they're like, go back the other way. I went the complete opposite way. So I go back, and there's like the double doors.
Yes.
And it's like Wizard of Oz. You're like, beep, and you're like, Mike Parelli, I'm here for Dana Parelli. She's having a baby. And they're like, okay, we'll come get you. And then it took like 5 minutes. So you're just standing there, and you're like, you know when you're on hold, and you like want to say, hey, like I'm still here. I wanted to call again, but didn't want to be rude. It's like when your food doesn't come, like an item of your food, and you want to ask, like, did you forget about it?
I have no problem with that. I always ask.
I know, you're a nutcase. So I'm in that weird, like, should I call him again? Like, my wife could be having a baby right now.
Do you remember me?
I remember thinking, like, right before I pressed it again, the door's open, and like this lady comes out, and she's got the shield, and in my head, I'm like, maybe she's gonna swab me quick. So like I kind of braced up, and she's like, she gives me a disclosure and then takes my temperature. And it's like when a cop gets behind you and you did nothing wrong, but you just get nervous. So I'm like, holding still, I don't know what that would have done. But in my head, I'm like, oh, it's great because I was in the AC blasting it before. So even if I did have a fever, they're not going to catch it. Perfect temperature, whatever it was, 97. Go in and go into the room with Dana and put like everything down. And I'm like, this is like a sick room. Dana looks very uncomfortable. They got her on IVs and things. And I start putting everything down. And I think again, like, wow, we have way too much stuff when I put stuff down. So I go right to Dana. I'm like, how you doing? She's like, I'm in so much pain. And like they said, 3 centimeters. 3 centimeters. So I remember the doctor coming in and saying, are you getting an epidural? And she's like, yes. Like, when can I get it? Like, I need it. And I said to her, you being so tough, you're doing so good. She looked like she was in excruciating pain. So she's having these contractions that are lasting a long time. She said there's no relief. Like, they're one after the other, and they're long. So she's like holding my hand, but like really squeezing
But now,
it.
wouldn't she have already gotten an epidural?
She should have, but
Gotcha.
We're going to get to that part. So they say
we might need laser. Might get a little dark.
Yeah.
But
the story is being very long.
No, it's
Sorry.
good. It's good.
There's so
it's
many
good.
details. So they tell her, they're like, listen, the doctors are doing the emergency C-sections. We're going to try to get the epidemiologist, whatever they're called, the person who does it.
Epidemiologist?
Yeah, I just made that up. That's not it. That's not it.
It's an anesthesiologist.
That's anesthesiologist. The zoologist was going to come in.
Epidemiologist.
So they're like, we're going to slip them in between the two emergency C-sections. And Dana was like, oh, yeah, I understand. Like, that's fine. Like, she was being very cordial about it.
Yep.
Which, it's hilarious how she kept her, like, she was very sweet during all this. So they said, we're going to give you fluids. When you finish that bag, we'll hit you with the epidural. So in our heads, we're like, look, I know I was staring at that thing, and I was like, it is not going fast enough.
A little dropper?
Drip, drip, drip.
Yeah.
And every minute that goes by, Dana's getting more and more in pain.
Wow.
And she's like starting to get a little nauseous. So the lady's like, so on top of it, nurses are coming in and different ones every time. A couple more shots. Nurses are coming in constantly, and they're like, sorry, we don't have enough. We have enough people, but we're just covering where we can because of the emergency C-sections.
Yep.
So every like 10 minutes, a new nurse. Everyone's super nice. This one nurse, she's like, I'm really nauseous. Like, do you have anything? Like, is there any way?
The nurse was nauseous?
No, Dana's nauseous.
nauseous. Says to the nurse. Gotcha.
Dana's nauseous, and she's like, do you have anything that like could help? And the lady's like, listen, just take an alcohol swab and sniff it. It helps you settle your nerves or whatever.
Really?
So I don't know if it's a fact or a placebo.
Yeah.
Dana is ripping through these swabs. She's like, she runs out of like 5, and she's like, can you grab the, we
Did
saw
she
where
say
she
it
got
helped,
him.
though? Like,
Yes, it was
Really?
helping. She goes, can you grab her in the, like, where the baby station is, clearly when the baby comes out, we're stealing swabs from that. She makes me go and rip them out. I'm like, the baby's going to come out, and they're not going to be able to clean her. Like, we got to slow down.
gotta
You're going to
slow
be high as hell. So she
feeling
goes
high
through
as
maybe
hell.
10 things of it.
Yeah.
And she's in excruciating pain, and like this, and like not yelling at me, but clearly irritated.
No epidural yet.
No epidural.
Scary.
Irritated, like in so much pain, just like it's the most pain I've seen her in. And it was the type of pain, looking at it, where I felt soft, because I'm like, that is insane.
You're over
I'm
here
trying to stay
complaining about
calm.
the push-up pain.
Yeah. And I'm trying to stay calm and holding her hand, and like holding her with 2 hands and doing breathing stuff, which I had no idea
What
how
are you
to
doing?
do. Where did you get that from? A movie?
No, I think my mom told me about it back in the day.
We were supposed to get all this prep stuff. We didn't do any of it because of the pandemic.
Yep.
So in there, I'm just like, all right, big breath. Not knowing if it's right. The doctors are coming in kind of reiterating that.
Yep.
And I'm holding her hand, and then like she's like, "Is it hot in here?" It's very hot in here. It's hot in here, isn't it? Is it hot? And I'm like, "All right, we'll ask them and turn it down." So he turned it down. She's like sweating, ceasing up, and she's like on the verge of tears, but holding him back. She's like, "I need this. I need the epidural." She's not really complaining. She's just clearly in super
she's
pain.
just clearly in pain. Yeah.
She's in pain where she can't open her eyes and leaning left and like doing
See, this seems wild though, because this almost seems like she's going full natural birth. I would say natty birth, right?
Natty. She's going natty, and
But like you usually would I think you would have the epidural to not feel this way.
usually. So the nurses there was an older nurse who was super sweet, but Dana's like, I don't know how people did it without epidurals. Like, this is so excruciating, and we're not even like all the way there yet. And the nurse is like, I did a natural, like it's tough, but you know, we're gonna get you the epidural. We're gonna get it. Don't worry, we're gonna get you. And she's like, I think you're gonna be you might be a fast one, because if you feel her low and you're
Gonna be a fast one.
Yeah, the contractions are going quick, like it's gonna be a fast one. So this is where it like really speeds up. So the bag's like 3/4 done.
And
So,
you're just like,
yeah, I'm staring at it. Dana's over the moon pain. Like, I feel terrible for her. I said to her in like that moment, I'm like, I'll never call you soft again. I'm super impressed. We're almost there.
Are you sticking to that?
Yes.
Okay.
Dude.
All right.
So
We're gonna hold him accountable on that, CV.
So-
next time he comes in here like, Dana's soft.
No, I told her that. So the what is it called? The anesthesiologist comes in. So they roll in
epidemiologist.
with like, they look like a bar cart. Like, they come in with all their gear, right? And they're like, can you go over there? So I stand over by us. Dana's here in the bed. I'm sitting to the right of her. And then there's the seat where we stole the swabs on the other side. So I go to that seat, and they come in, and I realize I'm gonna have a view of all the needles and like all the prep. And like Mo was telling me how big this needle is, and how it's a very touchy thing, right? Like, they can mess it up. It's terrible if they mess
it's
it
like
up.
a very specific part of the.
Yeah, like you gotta be
bag.
super focused.
Yeah.
So they come in super casual, and they're like, all right, like they ask a bunch of questions. They're prepping her. Dana's so relieved that they're there, but in so much pain.
She's probably thinking of the no snooze terminology, like, give me the epi.
Yeah, yeah.
Mike's thinking
Hit
like,
him with the epi.
we gotta.
So I'm kind of sitting there like, in my head, I'm like, don't, like, be supportive of Dana, but don't get in the way and don't say anything. Like, this is crunch time where they need to focus. Like, this is not the time to crack a joke
Right.
about like the needle. Be like, oh, is that your first time putting that in someone's back?
I can see him doing that. Like,
You
no,
know-
that was a bad joke. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Like, do you want me to take over? Like, I was thinking stuff like that. So I'm just sitting there, and my man and the woman who was like helping him, he's like cracking his neck and doing this.
Kind of a boss, huh?
Yeah, like prepping. And he's like getting in the zone. And I'm like, whoa, This is wild.
It's like a pregame ritual.
So he puts this sheet on her back. And did you see that part? The epidural part?
No, they did a spinal tap, which is a little different. But apparently the spinal tap, they don't allow anybody to see it.
Yeah.
They bring her in like another room, so I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, so I'm like just sitting there. They put this thing with like a target where it's gonna go, and I'm seeing it. Dana's staring at me, and she's still like in excruciating pain, and still like holding everything and all that. And she's sitting there, and they're like, "Stay still. You have to stay still now." And she's like you can tell she's like convulsing because she's in so much pain.
But now stay still.
Convulsing, so much pain. So she's like squeezes, and the guy go, like one swift move, like it was poetic. It was so smooth. And they wait a little bit, and the guy's like, "Do you feel anything?" And she's like, "Yeah, I still feel my legs, blah, blah." He goes, "All right, good. That was the placebo one."
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they give you like a test one to make sure they hit the right spot. So they don't miss, and then like shit goes, sorry to swear, crazy.
That was the placebo.
So they're like, "All right, hold still again."
Spinal tapiologist comes back.
My man hits it with this. Dana goes, like she's over hunched him like this. Like I couldn't do anything. I'm just sitting there like an idiot. And I'm like, so the guy pops it again, perfect for him. And
was it like a dart though? Like
it was, yeah, he does the needle.
Like
you're right, that's so.
Dart form?
If we were throwing it,
terrible
she would
at
have been
darts, by
screwed.
the way.
The needle was about this big. It was thin, but it was big. And like seeing him push the stuff.
We're going to clip that together.
Yeah. And him doing this part, it looked like a horror movie the way they. So he gets it in, and he puts it in her back. Like I guess it was successful, and they like get her situated again. And a couple nurses come in, and like she thanks them, and they, "Oh, good luck with everything." And a couple nurses come in, "Oh, you got the epidural? Oh, great." Like every time someone came in, they were picking up from where someone came off.
Gotcha.
So you got the epidural. Like, yeah, we're gonna check you and see where you're at. Like we think you're pretty prepped, and we just want to see how long we need before the doctor comes in and we start. But it should be fairly quick. Nurse, like she opens her legs, nurse checks it out. At this time, I like walk over, and I'm not in view of the goods. I'm on the side, but I see her like poking around, and you kind of see her working, and you see her face kind of go like, "All right, I'm gonna get a second opinion because I just want to make sure I'm seeing everything's good. I just want to make sure I'm seeing this correctly." So me and Darren are like, what does that mean?
Olivia's like,
yeah. She's like, "Hey, neighbor." So the water did not break, right? So they get the second nurse in. I think it's the original nurse that was saying she did it all natural. So she comes in. I guess she's the closer, the person you call in to get the deal done. So she comes in, and she's like looking, right? And she's like, "This baby's about to come. I think we're ready. I think you're ready. Your water has not broken, but the water's right here, and the only thing holding the baby back
is the water.
The water. So this order might be wrong, but I believe the other nurse, the original nurse who was with us for the delivery, kind of touched it barely, and the water broke.
Really?
Right? And I saw it, like all the water come out, and like she's like, "Oh, there's a little baby droppings in there." So they threw out some terminology like it's normal. I'm just going to tell when you deliver so they're aware. So they don't ingest it. So they'll be a little more methodical or whatever they said. So she's like, "Okay, all right, you know what? Let's do some practice pushing." I'm like, "Practice pushing?"
This is the.
So it's one woman, right? One nurse, and she's very calm. She's on if Dana's sitting this way, she's on her left. Dana's left, and I'm on the right. And I'm still trying to like stay out of view. Like I don't want to see anything. So nurse grabs her left leg, and she's like, "All right, grab a leg."
To you?
Yeah. And I'm like, "What?"
Well, how do you grab the leg? Is it like a trainer, like stretching someone out?
Yeah. Only if that trainer's having a baby.
Like that?
So she grabs the leg, and she pulls it all the way back, where one hand's on a foot, one's under here, right?
Wow, okay.
So like knees to like hips, like.
Can you get there or no? You can't.
I can't get there.
Right.
I'd rip my pants. That's how far. So she's like, "Oh, this is gonna be great. This might be a fast one. You're doing great." And the epidural's starting to kick in. I think Dana's feeling pretty good. They're like, "Oh, sorry, I missed a big part. They said you're fully dilated.
10, ready to go?
10.
Wow.
So she did the whole prep
Without
before
an
the epidural without
and it
anything.
kicked in.
So that's what happened. So when they broke the water, they also said you're fully dilated.
Wow.
So like you're ready to rock. So she
That-
did the whole
she did the whole
dilation
thing.
without anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's
so,
is that usually now? I mean, I don't know if you know this. We got to ask them. Is that
like when you get it?
yeah, well, no. So when you get the epidural, I want to know how fast does it kick in, and then also though,
Probably like 10 minutes.
when you push, is that a lot of pain if you don't have an epidural?
Yes. So Dana's at the point where we're about to push, and they want to see if she can feel anything.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? She's fully dilated, so ready to go. The water has broken. Nurse says grab a leg, which is one of the funniest.
Grab a leg.
Matt Pirro told me that it happened to him
Yep.
that way. So he just, when I was telling him this story, he was going, I told you. So she goes, grab a leg. She gets in a position. She's like, all right, grab a leg. I grab it, and I'm like kind of trying to, and she's like, grab it. So I get in position where I see everything. I'm like, here we go. And she's like, all right, next contraction. So they stare at the screen, and there's like a heart monitor type thing, but for contractions.
Yep.
I can't read it because I don't speak doctor, but I'm like looking at it, and she's like, okay, all right, here it comes. Like, it's wild that they're like, all right, here it
Now,
comes.
when you're seeing this though, are you in your head like?
Nothing started yet.
But do you see the head coming?
Wait, we're not there yet. We're getting there. So they're like, the wildest thing is kind of like how you were saying, push that portion,
Yep.
but now it's like you're waiting for the contraction. So we're looking, and you're like, all right.
While you see a contraction?
There's a monitor, so they can read it, and I'm just staring where they're staring to make it look like I know what they're doing.
Okay.
So
I
I'm
got
holding
you.
the foot, and she's like, all right, here it comes. Let's try it. Let's practice. Ready? Push. And they're like, support her leg. And I'm like, all right. So I'm just holding it. Dana does a big push, and she's like, oh, good. That's amazing. Do you feel it? She's like, oh, I don't feel anything. Perfect. All right, great. You're going to be great. All right, let's try another. So she's like, all right, here it comes. Push. And as she pushes the second time, I see fucking hair and a head.
Oh my God.
Like
just
the
coming-
top.
Wow.
And I'm like jaw down. Dana doesn't know what's going on
Right.
because she can't see anything,
Yeah.
obviously. And the nurse is like, oh, amazing. This baby is going to be great. Like, I'm going to call a doctor. Like, doctor, we're 2 pushes in. She's fully dilated, and we're seeing, the baby's ready to go. So, like, everyone come in. So I think we might have done one more push, and the baby you see a little more, no head, like you see the top and some hair. But I think maybe the third push was just like to test
Yep.
how serious we were. So we're 3 pushes in, give or take. The doctor comes in, 2 women to handle like the measurements and everything, 2 nurses. Our nurse that was holding the leg, and he has his tray of delivery stuff.
His tray. He walks in like he's like with a tray.
I missed an important part. So when the nurse was trying to get ready for the doctor, the light came down for like the delivery, and I was trying to calm Dana down, and I hit my head on it.
Just so loud.
And I was like, imagine if I break this.
Oh
before-
my God.
So anyway, so that stuff's down. So the doctor comes in, and he's the one that sent her home, right?
What's his title?
I don't know what his title is.
Birthologist?
He's the birthologist. So Dana's like, I'm so sorry, but I'm happy that like I'm actually gonna have a baby tonight. Like, he's laughing. He's like, yeah, I guess you were right. Like, you're already dilated. We're probably gonna have this baby pretty quickly. Like, I never sent anyone home 3 times in a row. So you were staying regardless. So I'm happy we're actually doing something. So he's very laissez-faire about it. So he's like, Dad, do you want to cut the umbilical cord? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And he's like, all right, these are your scissors. And like that's one thing I had to do, right? These are your scissors. He points at them. They're big gold ones. I know you were talking about the umbilical cord. It looked like a sausage. Way off. Looks nothing like a sausage.
A sausage before you cook it.
No, not even close.
Yes.
We'll talk. That was the worst
Yes.
comparison I've ever heard. So,
Mine looked like the
so
sausage. I don't know.
that's all I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, cut the sausage, 2 hands, one cut. So Dana's sitting there, and like, I think she knows that like the baby's gonna be coming soon, but we don't know how fast because everyone's like, this could be a quick one. So everyone's in position, and the doctor's like, okay, next contraction, let's push again. Let's try it again. Next contraction. So we're on push 4, right? Ready, go. All right, push. Crowns. Head is out, first push.
Wow.
Like maybe to here, right? And he's like, do you want a mirror? Do you guys want to see? Like, and I'm like, no, I'm good where I am. I see everything. Like, I don't need a mirror.
Yeah.
Dana's like, no, I'm nauseous. Let's just keep going.
Right.
She's like talking because she's so happy, and like she's on an epidural, so she feels nothing. She's probably high from the alcohol swab, and she's like, the epidurals are great. Like, I don't feel a thing. Like, I'm like, stop talking, let the doctor work. While all this is happening, I am in a group chat with the families. So I'm actually holding a leg and responding to a couple texts,
Nice.
trying to make sure that everyone's staying
Everyone's
calm.
updated,
Dana's mom was a nervous wreck. What's happening? Epidural was given, all's going well. It autocorrected to something absurd. She's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So like, I'm trying to keep her updated. I put the phone, we're on push 4, there's a head. All right, push 5's coming. All right, this is gonna be a quick one. I told you it's gonna be a quick, she's built to breed or whatever. He said something hilarious. So they're like, all right, next contraction. So everyone's looking at this monitor. And like everyone looks, and they're like, all right, here it comes. And then everyone like if a tidal wave was coming, and she pushes again, and like it's like clearly this is happening way too fast. The doctor's like, all right, get in position. 6 push. Let's get in position. Let me stand up. Like he clearly was ready, but
there's a point maybe do they slide?
So he's like, let me get in position. Let me stand, and he like kind of stretches.
Does he crack his neck too?
He might have, but he's very cash. So he was like, all right, let me get this. Let me get this. So I'm still holding oh no, I'm not holding a leg at this point because the doctor came in like, you want to hold the leg? I'm like, no, I'm good where I am. And I was just kind of like, So then they're like, all right, next contraction, push. All right, here it comes. Yeah. Baby comes out. He like swoops and turns the baby. It looks just like my godson, little Frankie. And I'm like, is that our baby? Gray. Crazy gray, looks like an alien.
Right? Yes.
Hands, I thought were huge.
I love that.
Maybe just because.
It's great.
Yeah, she was great. Hands were huge, right? And she comes out screaming. I look at Dana. I look at the umbilical cord. All I can think is Dave's full of. It looks nothing like sausage.
But
it's like a bungee cord.
No,
and
but
it's spiral.
Well, a sausage, when you make sausage.
It doesn't look like that.
Yes.
No, that's when you knot it.
Yes.
It doesn't look like that. It looked like a bungee cord.
A bungee cord? I don't know.
It looked like a slinky.
A slinky?
Yeah, when you pull out a slinky.
All right, so it's a tie. It's a cross
spiral.
between a.
It's spiral.
It is spiral for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the spiral.
But
I'm like,
I was
what
talking
is that?
more about the thickness of a sausage. Like, for some reason, I thought.
I don't know what sausage you get, but mine are thicker than that.
I thought it was stringy. I thought it was gonna be like a string.
Anyway, so the umbilical cord, he like
Did you grab the
unravels
scissors the right way?
We're getting to that. So he does it right. Dana, I think, is like crying, and I'm like excited, but so like, look at that umbilical cord. I just jaw dropped. He's like, Dad, grab the scissors. I grabbed the wrong scissors, right? I like grabbed his scissors. Yeah, I grabbed like little ones. I'm like, and then I grabbed the right ones, and he's like, all right, come on, come here, right between these two. And it's like,
holds
it's
it
12:53 at night. So we've been up all day. I'm delusional. No snooze to the max.
1,200 pushies in.
I'm holding both scissors like this is the biggest moment of my life, and I like snip it hard.
Yes.
And one time through, but it was close. It slid back.
Oh.
So it barely got through. So I got through, and he was like, oh, good.
Squirt
good.
though?
No.
No squirt.
Just a little blood, right?
I got a squirt, full squirt.
Nasty. So, because I was smooth when I did, I pulled it away.
Yeah, you pulled back.
So
all right.
It's like when you catch a ball and you
had
catch the
good
absorption.
technique.
So I cut it. Baby's out. They bring her, clean her up, all that stuff, and I'm like, that looks just like my godson. Is that her? And then I go to the doctor because my mother-in-law was joking around that 1% sometimes they get it wrong. Could be a boy. She was saying that all week last week, right? Like it could be Oliver, like joking around instead of Olivia. So I say to the doctor, I'm like, did you check, make sure it's a girl? And he was laughing. He goes, no, I didn't. Someone check? And they checked, like, it's a girl. And I'm like, all right, good. So.
But thank God, because God forbid you thought it was the umbilical cord or something else, you cut it off.
Yes, exactly.
No problem.
Well, it wouldn't have been, So they give the baby back to Dana. They do the skin on skin. Dana's like, obviously over the moon. I'm super excited. I'm like trying to get in there. Like,
Any tears or no tears?
No, I'm not. I didn't.
Both of you guys? No tears?
Dana cried. I didn't cry. I'm like goofy, smiley when I'm happy.
Yeah.
So I was smiling and like just in awe. And they were like doing the skin to skin. And I felt left out, so I was kind of like trying to get in the picture.
Trying to get in there?
Yeah. Then they were like, take a couple photos. I don't think did I hold her? Do they let you hold her in the?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, all right, Dad, you ready to hold her? First baby that little I've held ever.
Right.
Right. So I hold her and she's crying, and I remember in my head thinking like, this is amazing, like instant love.
Yep.
But then also like, who can I pass this to? When she started crying, and I'm like,
Yeah.
holy hell, I'm the one you pass it to.
Yep.
Like this is my baby. So you have like that overwhelming emotion. Then you're just like confused. You're like, what now? So they take the baby, they bring him to the nursery to get cleaned up and all that stuff. They give you like your wristbands. I want to say like I blacked out from the distance from our room to the room we were staying in.
Yep.
So like, I'm not doing it justice, but Dana basically said like, the doctors were so fast about everything. Dana really couldn't feel her leg still. She did an unbelievable job. They said, you know, this is a 1 in 10,000 delivery.
Wow.
How fast you did
fast?
it. They said because we kept sending you home, we think it happened so fast because if you get an epidural, it slows the process down.
Gotcha.
Because you did everything prior, once we hit you with the epidural, it was ready to go, so it was fast.
So all those times you called her soft, you probably built her up.
To toughen up.
To toughen up,
It's
right?
probably,
And
I should get the credit.
That's why you get the credit for this. So good job, Mike. I
Yeah.
see you.
But they just said, I will say it again, that was the fastest one. All your friends are going to hate you because this was so quick. And you're born to breed. So they said when you have your second child,
Wow.
come immediately because it could happen immediately. Like,
Wow.
Yeah. So in my head, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Next time I'm going to be showing a house and be like, oh.
Yeah.
So we finally get into the room, and I remember them asking, because you were saying about the nursery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how like you can give them off to the nursery so
Yep.
you can get a couple hours.
Yes.
So they were like, do you want to send her to the nursery so you guys get some sleep? Because at this point, it's 3:40,
Yep.
3:50, 4 o'clock in the morning. And we're like, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like, no hesitation, which is hilarious. New parents, yeah. Someone babysit. We're good. So 4 o'clock, like we're sitting in the room. We're kind of like, I'm giving Dana a kiss, and we're kind of unwinding, and like, we're like, that was wild. Everyone tells you it's a wild experience. That's all you can do to describe it. It's wild. Saw everything, crazy.
And I think your experience is more wild than mine because like I didn't see.
No, it's different,
see
but
all
it's
that.
Dana, the other weird thing that I didn't even mention is when she gets like, when she was having the contraction, she was shaking like the Exorcist.
Yep.
Because the shivers are like a labor thing, which I was like, well, what is going on?
That's crazy.
When is this ghost coming out of her? So we get to the room and we expect the baby to be in the nursery. Nurse rolls in, baby. And we're like, not trying to be like weird about it. We're like, I thought you were thinking of the nursery. So she comes in and apparently does like a safety thing
Yes.
for us. And she's like, yeah, so I have to go through these safety things. So like, just listen up. So Dana's listening, who did all the work and did everything. And I sit on the couch to start to listen. I fall asleep. So Dana said I just tipped over and started snoring, like immediately.
Wow.
So the lady was like, Dana was like, I'll listen. So Dana stayed up. I got maybe like 30 minutes then. And then from then on, we were changing diapers and nurses kept coming in.
Yep.
So we didn't get any sleep. And the next morning rolled around and we were kind of like, it was all hitting us. And then it was just, we were hanging out in the room for 2 days and it was wild. But I kept telling Dana, I'm like, you are so strong. You put on a show.
She's
nothing.
a trooper.
I felt guilty when people are congratulating me, like all the nurses. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I cut a cord, right? Like, but it was, I said to Dana that night too, I'm like, I have so much respect for anyone who is given birth or just like the parents, the amount of worry immediately
Yes.
from it.
Something
like
else
we didn't,
kicks in.
yeah,
Right.
and you know the noises the baby makes the first night. You're just like,
What is that?
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about this?
and you're like sleeping, but you're not really sleeping. Like
Yes.
even the second night when we started to sleep, you're still like popping up out of nowhere.
See, the
It's a
second
weird-
night is when we got lucky because the first night the baby was with us, but we also, Karina gave birth in the morning. Baby stayed with us the entire first day. We didn't get her to the nursery till day 2, but also they weren't busy. They didn't have babies, and I remember the nurse saying, Nikki,
Yep.
shout out to Nikki, great nurse.
Yeah, we had Nikki.
She was like, look, this really doesn't happen all the time. The nursery is empty right now.
Of course.
Roll her in. So we got lucky with
Roll
that.
her in.
Roll her in.
Yeah, so I remember we tried the second night too. We stayed 2 nights.
And they said
second
no?
night, they were like, yeah. I think Nikki said, she was like, yeah, just ask the nursery, they'll take her for like a couple hours,
Yep.
you can get some sleep. or 2 feedings, whatever
Yes,
they said.
yeah.
So we asked 3 different nurses.
Nothing.
Every time they ask, well, we could take her for like an hour, like a little for a feeding, but we can't feed her, but we can take her between. And we're like, what?
What?
3 times we asked. Then the 3rd time, like whatever. So they took her for
They
like.
must have not been intimidated by you, because I think that's what got them.
But they did come in and they said, listen, the big guy with the tattoos, thank God you're not him. He was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But they said
Can I
they
have
were
more
like,
water, please? I'm dehydrated.
they said to us, they were like, we really appreciate you guys being so cool with everyone in and out.
Yep.
And I said to them, like, I liked it because it was a change of pace. You're keeping me on my toes. The
Right.
ADD was helpful. Dana, give her credit, was super calm with all the moving parts. I think she was just in so much pain that she was just focusing on her task.
Something else kicks in differently, though. Like, I can't wait to talk to them too, because
Oh, yeah.
it's amazing. Like, you have all these, it's not doubts, but it's like a, I just hope we're okay.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I hope we can figure this out. And then not so much the men, but the women, something else kicks in. It's like that motherly instinct, and then it's just like, all right, well, I guess I'll follow her lead. I don't know. She knows what she's doing.
So funny because while she was having the contraction, she kept saying, never again.
Never again.
Then as soon as she had the baby, she's like, I can do like 4 more of those,
I think they
So,
forget. Well, they always say that. Like,
you forget.
On a small scale, it's kind of like tattoos, right? Like, people, it's not a great pain, but then you sit through the pain and then you eventually just go back and back and back. And it doesn't feel good, but I think you forget what it was because the end result is so good.
And it's a hard story to repeat because I'm sure, as you know, there's so much going on and you're like, you have all these emotions where you're trying to focus on the details. And I definitely screwed up like order of things. But the main takeaway was like Dana basically gave birth or did the whole contraction process and labor without an epidural.
That's incredible.
So now I joke with her, I'm like, everything else should be like cake because you did one of like the hardest things ever.
Yeah.
But you do just immediately have such a respect for just women in general, parents, moms. It's insane.
God bless.
But now it's, the No Snooze brand is definitely living up to the hype as far as the lack of sleep.
Now it's a real lifestyle.
Yeah. Now it's like, it's funny when you wear the shirt and you're up at like 3:45 in the morning. You just kind of giggle. You're like, well, I asked for this.
Yes, of course. But it's a beautiful thing, man. And honestly, we're only a couple weeks in now, but you guys are killing it.
I'm not about killing it.
No,
that's
you're killing
a bad use of words.
No,
killing it.
no.
We're keeping it alive.
No, we're keeping it alive.
Yeah.
Not it as the baby.
We're keeping it alive.
No, you're absolutely killing parenting.
Yeah.
You guys seem calm. You seem cool, collected. But it's also stressful too. Everybody in the house, everyone wants to see the baby. I got to do this. You got to keep everybody up to date. So I give you guys a lot of credit. It seems like you guys are doing an awesome job.
Yeah, and Dana gets most of the credit because she's been amazing with the diaper change and all that stuff. We are recording late tonight, so I'm worried when I get back to see like
I don't
what
think
happened.
they can actually see us on YouTube anymore. I think we kind of just faded into the dark now.
Yeah, it's just voices.
Right. No, the details are good on this.
There was. Oh, I thought that was a bug. There was so much.
That was the microphone. He just threw it off.
So many,
that was a bug. He just threw it off.
So many. It was such a long day, and there was so much happening that like it was a blur. My brother said it to me when I was like, "How was it?" He just kept saying it was wild. It was wild. And now like you finally understand like it's hard to describe. It's something out of a movie like Alien.
Never
but
seen
you're
it.
not. I thought I was gonna faint. You're not worried about it because it's like you want it so bad to happen.
Yes.
And that you're not afraid of it.
Correct me if I'm
Does that
wrong
make
here, but
sense?
something different also kicks in on our end that you don't realize your feelings because you're so worried about what your wife is feeling in that moment.
Yeah, you're worried about her. Like I was worried about her health.
Right.
So I'm like very worried about her. Obviously worried about the baby. Hilarious that the baby came out and looked just like me and my godson, like the Pirellis.
I mean, yes, but she's much prettier than you.
And I asked Karina,
Much
but I asked Karina and I was like, are you jealous that like the baby looks more like Dave? And she's like, absolutely. I cannot wait till the baby looks more like me.
Now every day she's like, no, she looks like me now, right?
yeah.
Right? You see her? She looks like
But
me.
that
she looks
happens.
like me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
but I'm excited.
She's absolutely beautiful.
And the best friends met, which has been great.
The No Snooze socks.
Yes,
Thank you to
CV, those were
CV.
clutch.
They were awesome.
But no, I think it's a perfect timing. I think it's going to be an interesting ride when they start getting older and like throwing things. And
That's going to be crazy. But honestly, one thing I appreciate about this whole podcast, I know we always talk about it, but the fact that we have this to look back on is like really cool.
It's going to be funny like looking back at the ones prior to having the baby and be like, yeah, we're
Yeah.
1,000 push-ups a day with the baby.
And
easy.
right. And
I haven't done a push-up since the baby was born.
So how's the Podbot update doing?
I've been
non-existent?
ravished. I'm gonna come clean. For lunch, didn't eat any breakfast. Like 2 o'clock, we were on the run. We stopped at McDonald's.
Nice.
I had a double quarter pounder to send it back. 10 chicken nuggets.
Okay.
And then one of Dana's double cheeseburgers, fries, Dr.
Perhaps
Pepper.
another food challenge coming soon?
Possibly, but I'm
Possibly.
trying to get through this week, and then I think next week the diet starts again.
So we'll start your dad bod updates from now on.
Yeah.
I prefer the father figure.
Let's
You'll go dad bod.
Let's try to come back when we start re-recording
Yes.
and be in good shape.
Yes.
But 30, yeah, I guess I can't start the diet before 30th episode.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
No.
But that's all I got. I'm trying to miss details.
No, that was a beautiful recap.
It was probably, how long was that?
I mean, it was a minute, but it was a good minute.
It was a minute.
It was a very good recap. Now, you have to leave us with Miguelito's mantra, because that's
Yeah,
how
I was
that's
looking
how
up-
we're gonna end.
I was looking up quotes about moms.
Dude, there's these.
I just got a text from Dana.
What are they called? Lightning bugs?
Lightning bugs.
Wow, I haven't caught one of these since the third
Oh.
grade.
Dana just texted me a picture of Livy with projectile vomit all over Dana.
That's awesome.
She goes, "You just got out of your first projectile vomit."
Oh my god. Yeah, it's wild, the stuff that like gets on you.
it's
I've been thrown up on.
Yeah.
Pooped on, peed on every day.
You know what they don't talk about is the I never knew that there was the umbilical cord was still attached when you bring the baby home.
Yes.
And like it falls off
well,
eventually.
and the plastic piece that's on Livy
Massive.
seems a little bit bigger than what was on.
It's like they ran out of material and they're like, you know what? Anybody got a paper clip? But everyone at Greenwich Hospital was incredible.
They really are awesome. They really.
We had a
are.
great experience. The food was delicious
Yeah.
as far as the steak. It's funny, the wife gets preferential treatment, understandably,
Yep.
and then the husband gets whatever.
Right.
One day they were like, "Do you want chicken pot pie or
He's like, "I want the
tortellini?"
lobster.
No, yeah. They go chicken pot pie or like chicken cacciatore or something like that, and they came and they brought me ravioli. And I was like, "Why'd you ask me?" You know. My mantra of the day is, "Moms are the strongest people in the world." I made it up.
Until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it. And feed that baby.
Ain't no hood like fatherhood.
Yes, that would have been a good one.
That's another Effie in the books. Go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at No Snooze Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze.